Yeah, Tony, it seemed like you and Coach Van Horn kind of got into it there after the game. Just what was that about?
Just, he had some things to say, thought we did a good job and, it was an excellent series and all that. And probably poor timing on my choice, but brought up some off the field stuff that really is not a big issue. So that's probably more I should say about it, but that's kind of what transpired.
And if I could ask about the actual game, just kind of what went into the decision to let Blake go back out there, and what did you think of his performance today?
Yeah, his performance was electric. I don't know what else went on today, this weekend, whether it belongs in this category or not. I doubt anyone threw as well as he did. I mean, their guy started the game in tremendous fashion as well, but to go as deep as he did gave us a great chance to win. And, obviously both teams had used a lot of bullpen guys, but, it was his game to win or lose. And, once we knew they were going to bunt, we thought Sean was a good guy in that particular situation. And unfortunately, it didn't work out. But it was a winning effort to the extreme out of Blade.
Tony, kind of piggybacking off of that, how big of an outing is this for a freshman against the number one team in the country for him to pitch as well? How much confidence do you think that gives him going forward the rest of the year into the postseason?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it should carry over into next weekend for him when we're on the road. But if we are fortunate enough to be in the postseason and to use him, then I think it gives him all the confidence in the world. We played the best team in the country, and they're that for a reason. They're really strong on both sides of the ball, and on the offensive end, you don't really get a break throughout that lineup. So to go that deep into the game against them with the type of numbers, it probably hasn't been duplicated by many other, starting pitchers in our league.
Mike, Ryan, and then Wes. Mike, you got us?
Yeah, unmute there if you could.
Mike lost audio. He lost his audio.
We'll go to Ryan and then Wes then.
A guy like Cops in the other bullpen, do you think there's maybe a heightened sense of pressure to get the runners in some of those few chances you had earlier in the game?
Not really. I mean, I think the coaches knew more that he was down in the bullpen warming up than the players did, because it was kind of there was a long break in the action there when I think it was Zeb was on the mound and they were going to bring in Cops. So I don't think that was going on with our players, and it wasn't coming on from us. I think the nature of the game, two good SEC opponents going into a rubber match, I think the heightened sense started really at the beginning of the game. And maybe that led into our hitters or maybe even their hitters too, squeezing that bat a little too tight. But, overall, I don't think that played into it. Until he came into the game, I don't think it was an issue. And then once he was in the game, he made his mark on it.
Wes.
Yeah, Tony, I'm guessing y'all are probably at a point as a program now where you want moral victories to be behind you. So with that said, just the way Arkansas played the games this series, it seemed like, every defensive play, every chance to move a runner, it seemed like they just didn't put a lot of feet forward. Is that a lesson that it's always good for a team to learn? Because y'all were pretty good, but just missed a couple opportunities there.
Yeah, we did. I think these guys – I've been there. They approach every series the same way, which is, why they have success. And then it was up to our guys to kind of match what they had going on. And, yesterday we get a cue shot to start a mess. And, a couple times today they get a cue shot or, a big swing flare that threw us for a loop. So, you could break it down a bunch of different ways, but on two occasions, with Cops coming out of the bullpen and their offense doing what they had to do to scratch a few runs across, they were a few inches better than us.
And with that double to start the seventh, was that, or early in the seventh, was that a ball that just got off the end of the bat and Drew didn't see it as well? Or did you get a chance to talk to him about that?
Yeah, I don't think he saw it as well, but I mean, it's same thing on the ball that came off Slavin's cap. I mean, it was him twice. The guy, I'll probably start a fight in their dugout, but the guy might be their best hitter overall, and he takes as aggressive of a swing as you can imagine. So when he makes contact with that big swing and the ball doesn't come off, the way that you maybe would initially think, you're one step slower to it. And I think on both occasions, very minuscule for Rucker maybe, but on both occasions, that's kind of what went on.
Back to Mike.
Yep, sorry about that. Tony, with series like this and Vanderbilt, the only two that you guys haven't won this year, what lessons have you learned about your team and the way that they handled these major series and games that didn't go their way?
Yeah, I think, they competed their butt off and did it the right way. I know that's my fault there at the end that we got guys kind of milling around and the two teams talking to each other, but really you got heavyweight bouts. They showed up with the right mentality every day. The results fluctuated, but they competed throughout the entire weekend. And these are kind of what super regional weekends look like. Huge crowds, outstanding opponents. Every pitch means something, a lot of intensity, some back and forth stuff. And it comes down to a very small margin between win and loss. So we've got two doses of that, and they've been on our field too. Having said that, coming up short doesn't feel good. And to people that now are on board with what we're doing here, it's probably not good enough for them either.
And you said the small margin for error. What do you think was the margin for error in this series for you guys?
Man, that's kind of a wide range question there. As far as as far as this series, I think what coming in is you're at home, and anytime you're on home, you think you should have a slight advantage. So regardless of how well the team is ranked or how high they're ranked, you'd like to win that deal. But I think our guys have just learned that everything matters going into the weekend, and they managed emotions and other stuff much better this go around than we did in the other big series that's been mentioned. But they're all big series. And I think, again, if we could steal something, people are asking me what I learned when I was working there. If we could steal something from what I already mentioned, you got to approach every weekend like this one. Enjoy it, but you got to be ultra focused, and you got to manage your calories and invest them in the right spots.
Well, the two more, we're going to Trey and then finish with Dudley.
Hey, Coach, you've kind of touched on it just a little bit, but overall, what do you think personally you take away as a coach from this series and the rest of the assistant coaches trying to go forward? How you're going to manage the batting lineup, how you're going to manage the pitching with one regular season? Well, I'm sorry, two a series left, and then a game against Belmont. What is all getting ready for you guys now?
Well, I think we're getting our whole bunch together as far as, for the most part, everyone is healthy. We haven't ground anyone down into the ground, pitching staff wise. Everybody should be feeling good. And we've established our three starters. I know Blade's been mentioned as a freshman a couple times on this, but he's done with his freshman year academically, and he's been asked to do things that juniors and seniors are being asked to do. Heflin now is no longer a spot starter guy. Those days are long gone. He's established himself there, and then Chad leads us into battle the way that we want to. So I think we've kind of established our team and pinch hitters and all that good stuff going into this final week of baseball. And again, we hope there's more weeks left to play. So there's always areas to improve, but all that's kind of coming together, if that makes sense.
Hey, a quick follow-up. When you guys were in the outfield, did you sense some confidence coming out of your team when you were talking to them, even though the series didn't go their way today?
Just frustration. I don't think we wouldn't – early on this year with guys individually not having that great of success, we wouldn't be able to win the amount of games that they won early in the game if they weren't a bunch of guys that had some grit to them and high standards. So, like I said, if you want to put it into a box, I was dumb to, start a conversation on the field, and they kind of followed that. So that kind of started the whole beginning of the conversation that we had. And then, afterwards, when we just started talking about the series, all I got was their attention, which was surprising in that situation, and, saw frustration because they want better. And hopefully there's a little bit of hunger in those eyes too, because baseball is a deal where you're right back out on the field on Tuesday. I don't know if that'll seem like it'll come in a hurry or a long time because, again, emotions were high this weekend, but it's going to be here relatively soon. And hopefully they look like they're a hungry bunch after this weekend's disappointing results.
Dudley. We got us? All right, that's it. Thanks, Coach.